stuff. I have some outlines of what Sherri's going to cover for those of us who are here in the room. If you're interested, let me keep one.
Do you want me, I have it on my email. Do you want me to forward it to any of the ladies there?
Oh, hey.
You just forward it to me if you want,
Forward
and I
it
can.
to you?
I'll send it out
Okay.
to.
Oh,
'Cause
maybe they
I-
could even follow along
Yeah.
right now, though.
Oh yeah. Well, I think they're on their phones.
Oh, they are?
Do you have a laptop right now?
I think Sherri could forward it to you from her phone.
Okay.
What's the email that she should send it to?
Autumn, go ahead. Do you want me to get mine? Yeah. A is in apple, G is in girl, C is in cat, P is in pig, 237, F is in fox, H is in hill, P is in pig, at yahoo.com.
Did you get all that?
I didn't, I was pulling it up, so I'm glad
Okay.
you were writing it
And
down.
Sally, what's yours?
Sally Waldorf at gmail.com.
Well, that is
Okay.
very complicated. Okay.
Okay.
We're typing in those emails right now.
Okay.
None of this seems like anything I'm going to be teaching.
You don't want to do the wings or no wings?
Oh.
Come on, Chad.
When I was going over this last night, I looked over at Shannon and I said, I'm a little nervous about some of this.
Okay, ladies, today we're going to discuss.
Chad, can I forward this to you and let you work
Sure,
on it while
sure.
I can go ahead and get started?
Sure, it's mine's just pastorchadyoder at gmail.com.
Okay. 'Cause for some reason,
Are you working? Would you
Okay.
want to call Faye? Ask her if they want to come over for dinner.
yes.
Hey, I want to come over for dinner.
Okay, I just sent it to you.
I can't get away with anything.
No
Sure,
whiskey.
come on down. You'll love it down here. It's supposed to be high 70s today.
Oh, shut up.
Well,
They
come
love
on down.
it. They love it.
Let me know if the attachment came with it.
Okay.
Do you want me to just go ahead and get started?
Yeah, let's go ahead and, it looks like the email is going to come from Chad instead of Sherri,
Okay.
uh,
All right.
but we're going to go ahead and get started.
Sure.
All right, I have some materials I need to fish out. Oh, you have brochures handy. huh?
Yeah,
Okay,
well, these are the ones that you asked me to look at
Yeah.
and see if,
okay,
and I thought those looked pretty simple for us to copy and
okay,
related pretty specifically to there,
okay.
to what you have.
So Pastor Miller said that we were gonna have a local that teaches how to make soap. Is that still on the agenda?
Yes.
Okay, so I think that would be the first thing that we would do, and I don't know how long that would take, I don't know how cumbersome that process would be, but that sort of plays into the rest of what we were going to do. Would tie that in then to talking about good hygiene, and so nurse friends in Georgia, chime in anytime I may have left out a really important piece of information. Just talk to them, especially about hand washing. And I understand soap is kind of a luxury there, so this might not be a topic they're really familiar with or used to washing their hands in all these circumstances. But I've listed out specific things we talk about. It seems so common sense, and I don't want to offend anyone there. So for those of you who have been there, if this isn't going to fly in any way, please let me know. And we do have a brochure that we're going to copy and hand out on hand washing. A friend of mine at the Madison County Health Department provided me with some materials. And then I thought we would talk about the female anatomy and the reproductive system And again, I have some brochures that we can copy, so we'll have information to help us. It's all in English, so they're not going to understand it, but there are visuals inside the brochures, so they can kind of get, you know, an idea. I'm also looking for like a 3D model like they would use in a health class or something, and I haven't been able to come up with one yet, so I don't know if
I don't have one,
yeah.
but, I mean, eventually I'll have to teach it anyway, so.
So,
Autumn's got some posters, correct, Autumn?
Oh,
Yes,
okay, great.
that you've used in the past.
Are they,
It'd be easier to transport posters than a 3D model.
okay, that sounds great. Okay,
you're off the hook.
I'm off the hook, thank you, yeah. The brochures that we have, I'm down on where it says demonstration of female anatomy, talk about the inside of the body and the outside of the body, because I'm not sure how much they know about the whole process of puberty in order to explain it to their daughters so they know what's going on with their bodies. So I thought this might be a way for us to teach them to teach their girls. And then just talk about the menstrual process. Now, I'm a teacher, but this is nothing I've ever taught before, so this will be an interesting topic for me. So just talk to them about the menstrual cycle, what happens, and then I wanted to show them how to make some reusable pads. And I have about 1 million pins on Pinterest of how to do this. But I was trying to find one that didn't require sewing, because I don't sew, and I don't know if they would have materials for sewing. So when you brought up safety pins earlier, that's a good thing, because that was kind of the way I was planning on putting these things together, was with safety pins. And then, you know, I'll have a template for those, and I can send that to the Georgia ladies too. As far as our congregations providing us, helping us with materials, we will need actual material to make these things. So that might be something that, you know, some of our women's groups and churches could help us do. I'm also looking into grants to help us, you know, to fund scissors and safety pins and things like that, so we're not so out of pocket with that. And then lastly, I have some information on STDs and HIV. I feel a little uncomfortable talking about that, but if somebody else wants to take the reins, I will certainly provide the information that you need.
Autumn and I can teach it.
Okay. Yay!
We've taught it in the clinics.
Yeah.
Every time we saw a person in the clinics, which was about every person.
So, when you ladies in Georgia get this outline, if you would look over it and just let me know if there's any tweaks I need to make or something I'm leaving out that I really need to cover, since this is more your expertise than mine. Any questions from you all about? No.
Julie, how would you feel about taking some leadership on STDs in September?
Woohoo!
Chad, now I know where you're going.
That was pretty easy as well.
I mean,
I don't know. I think Dewey should do it.
I think we're gonna have Dewey make these. No. Someone at your church made this,
Yeah,
correct?
and she's making several of those.
Okay.
So we'll have some that are already made that will be available.
But again, these are sewed.
Those are sewed.
Sewn.
Sewn.
Did I just say sewed?
I don't think
Sewn. Sewn together. These are sewn together.
and attached with safety pins.
Right. So I would like to figure out a way, and I was experimenting with this last night, just cutting the pattern, but then using the pins to adhere them all together. So that might be something, we might have a ladies' day and work through that, unless you gentlemen want to join.
I'm good.
Okay. Okay.
All right, and Georgia ladies, I just forwarded you the email with the handout in it.
I got it. Okay. Got it.
That was easy.
And I went through that pretty quickly, but
You did.
it's pretty basic.
I gave you an hour for
You
this,
gave me
and
an
you did
hour?
it for
Wow.
in 5 minutes. Well,
Wow.
let's cover Are there any questions or suggestions for any of this?
Well, I suggest that the Baptist Church women, I get a magazine, WMU. This is Autumn. And I think it was in the December one or January one, they had a group of women that made the pads for the Samaritan Purse boxes. And they may have been sewn, I don't know. But they looked really, really simple.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like, if we could, maybe I can find that, we could get that pattern. You may already have it. I don't know.
There are a lot of patterns on the internet, so they're easy to find.
Yeah, okay, so if you've got a pattern,
like,
you want
this
to
is
send it.
even a
The
basic.
women in my church
Sorry,
are pretty
guys.
good about helping out, and I probably have 75 dresses that they've made out of pillowcases, so I can bring those too.
Oh,
They're pretty good sewers, in other words.
I've seen this. I just don't know how to sew.
Also,
I don't want to break in on you, Autumn.
I'm done, yeah, I'm done, girl.
Okay. Sherri, there's also an issue that I see with the health teaching
Okay.
because there's such a huge lack of clean water.
Mm.
That's an issue. We can give them soap, but if they don't have clean water to wash their hands in, then
Right.
we're just spitting in the wind as far as their health issues are concerned. So
Right.
we also have to teach them how to, if they might have a well, first of all. And we ran into a village one time where they had a government well that charged each person like a penny a gallon, but people didn't have the money, so they went to the swamp for their water.
Oh.
There was a clean well nearby. We were still seeing a lot of waterborne diseases. So
Okay.
it's almost like you have to kind of assess the area when you go into it.
Okay.
But if they do not have clean water, then we have to teach them how to boil their water and why that's important.
Okay.
And it takes time. I mean, there's all kinds of reasons why a family's not going to do that. But if we can teach them why it's necessary to have clean water and how much better off their health is going to be,
Mm-hmm.
that's a component that I think we should add.
Okay, and again, something I had not thought of, so I'm so thankful you brought that up. I did read when I was researching these reusable pads, teaching them to wash them in gray water, so they're not wasting water to clean them, but they can use their dishwater or something to actually
Right.
clean these. So that was the only
Sure.
aspect of water that I had really thought of. So
Yeah.
Another health teaching you might want to add to that too is on malaria.
Oh, yes.
Because that's really a big deal.
Yeah, we have to teach about malaria and why it's important for them to treat the malaria, why it's important for them to spend a little bit of money and get treatment for their kids and themselves. Because there's so many
That's the amazing part.
side effects that
It's so
can occur
prevalent over
from
there. It's
untreated
cheaper for them
malaria.
to treat it than to prevent it.
Is that right?
I had also looked at, because I know your church collected shoes last year, they get jiggers in their feet, some sort of parasite. And so that was something that I thought about talking to them about too, but if we're not providing them with shoes, then that, I don't know what good that is doing. So that might be something we do at a future date.
I think that the opportunity for taking and providing stuff, like we could do shoes and some of this women's stuff too, because we have 13 people on our team, and that's so. And I've asked each person to keep one entire checked suitcase empty to put stuff in. So we have 13 suitcases worth of stuff we can take.
Okay.
So I'm thinking that we should be able to take sandals along with all this other stuff. We should have plenty of room for everything.
Okay.
And if we're doing flip-flops, it's not going to take any
Yeah.
room
Yeah,
at all.
yeah.
And I think,
They're light.
and I think we should specifically do flip-flops. and
Yeah.
not other
I
ones.
agree.
Yeah.
Okay.
Flip-flops are great because they're durable, they transport easy, and they're not heavy. So you can fill your suitcase with them,
Exactly.
full to the brim, and you're still underweight with the airlines.
Exactly.
You probably allowed me time to talk about all of these bullet points a little more, correct?
Yeah.
I probably don't need to do that with this group, you think?
Okay. I have